Kayak gets my flight, hotel, and rental car right, so I can tune out travel advice that's just plain wrong.
Bro, SkyCoin. Way better than points.
Never fly during a Scorpio full moon.
Just tell the manager you'll sue. Instant room upgrade.
Stop taking bad travel advice. Start comparing hundreds of sites with Kayak and get your trip right. Kayak. Got that right.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Was one time, I never realized this, but there was a case I handled when I was a prosecutor. And we used to always do our own case review. If we filed a case, we had to do the interviews because it was our case and we had to take it to trial. Because if you filed it, it's yours. So I thought this was an interesting one. And this fellow called me. He was from the sheriff's office. He says, do you mind if I bring my dog in? Because he said, I can't leave the dog in the car, and flower. And I said, of course. This dog, and I had this little office, very tiny. And this dog smelled so bad. My eyes were just tearing. I said, listen, I think we're going to cut this short. I said, this dog smells like, He goes, yeah, I know. He says, it's a tracker. I said, well, I don't give a damn what it is, but it smells. You ever wash it? He says, no. I said, it's a tracker. I said, excuse me, I don't know what you're talking about. He says, no, when the dog's out there, it'll brush up against a tree, and if it smells it himself again, he'll know he's been there. I said, oh. He goes, oh, yeah. So listen to this. It was an African-American family. Girl was in a bunk bed. This creep comes through a window. They're kind of like out in the, not really in the city, but they're all kind of in the woodsy area, big, whatever. He comes to the bedroom, and she's in the top bunk and does some terrible things to her, but leaves through the window where they believe he brushed up against a drape, or curtain, rather. So they brought this family, and they brought the dog. And there was an interesting thing. The father said, we, maybe from the 60s, police and dogs, we don't embrace them. I said, well, but this was different. So listen to what the dog did. The dog smelled all, this is a big family, smelled each one and said, okay, those are the family, right? Right, okay. Now, where's the bad guy? They walked over to the window where they believe he walked in. The dog smelled it. The dog said, got it. He doesn't want to go around and track the people, the family members. He's looking for this guy. So they're out there at night looking for this. And there's trees, and other trees, of course, but there's leaves and the crinkling of the leaves. And he has his flashlight out and a gun because they're looking for this guy. And he always put the flashlight out so in case somebody shoots at the flashlight, he's nowhere near it. So anyway, every dog has their own way of signaling. This dog would just sit up. So when they came to this thing, the dog sits up. And he looks around with a flashlight. He goes, oh, my God, you poor thing. This poor dog there's nobody here. By the way, they don't they can only work for like an hour or so, and then they got to stop. They can't do this all day long. Anyway, the dog said, I'm telling you. I'm paraphrasing what the dog said. The dog says, I'm telling you, he's here. And he's looking around at night with the flashlight, nothing. And he pulls the chain again to say, come on, let's go. And the dog again says, excuse me. This is what the dog said. The dog said, excuse me, I'm not going to tell you again. He's here. Sure enough, he heard the leaves rustle, and there was the guy. Tracked him for over a mile at night in the dark. And this dog, this kind of old dog, followed this thing. Never said, now, what was that again? Can you give me another whiff of that curtain? I forgot. No. By the way, you know what a dog does? Why it's so smart. When it sniffs, it exhales and then sucks it back in. It doesn't just sniff like we do. It kind of blows out a breath, so to speak, and then sucks it back in. And that particular distance gets bigger and bigger. So it's like a vacuum. It's brilliant.